Warning, this video may contain content that may not be suitable for children or anyone else that is easily offended. Strong language, graphic content, nudity, bad jokes, and a possible idiot, aka myself, may be featured in the following clip. Viewer discretion is advised. And is not responsible for any damages that you receive watching this video. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Zems, and welcome to the terrifying Axeman of New Orleans. This video is by BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries. This video was recommended to me by Wolfman Werewolf, so if you guys haven't already, be sure you swoop down to the description box, click on that link, and watch the video to the entirety while me pausing and stopping and talking through the whole thing. Thank you guys so much, man, for the 2,000 subs, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep doing what we're doing. Sorry about the last 2 days. I've been busy. If I jump back into it, look out for tomorrow for another live stream. So if you guys missed the last one, be prepared for this one. The stream may include Mr. Ball and Mr. Nightmare and some of Nuke's top 5. So if you guys want to see some of that, be sure you be there and it will go down. But for now, let's get it.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we cover the Axeman killer of New Orleans, one of the strangest serial killer cases I've ever read.
And you've read a lot.
Yeah, I read a lot in my time.
You're a sicko.
I'm not a sicko, I'm interested in
Me too.
Okay,
I feel you.
maybe I'm a little weird, but this guy had a flair for the dramatic. I think you're gonna enjoy it.
Okay, all right.
Let's get into it. Starting in 1918, over a period of roughly 18 months, the city of New Orleans and surrounding areas were rocked by a serial killer that would later go by the name the Axeman. The Axeman was the manifestation of the boogeyman, lurking in the shadows of New Orleans, almost exclusively attacking at night, and is possibly responsible for 12 attacks and 6 killings.
Jesus.
In chilling fashion, he only seemed to strike people while they slept in their beds.
I love this right off the bat.
What do you love about it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I love it when serial killers have a fun little thing. I don't approve of serial killers, but I think if you're gonna kill a bunch of people, you might as well have some fun with it.
I feel like you have baseball cards of this guy.
I absolutely do not. They don't make serial killer baseball cards, though, do they?
If they did, you'd probably own them.
You would own them.
No, I think
in a
you'd own them
heartbeat.
too.
You'd
I'd
be
own
like,
them.
I'll trade you a Gacy for a...
I'd trade you a Gacy
For
for
a Ted Bundy or something.
The Axeman eerily never used his own tools.
I like him already. He's kind of like Dark Joke. He's like, if you're going to be a killer, at least do it in a fashion that no one else does it in. Because who really be like, you know what? Just imagine him sneaking up on you, about to kill you, and you wake up, and he's like, dang it, man. Sorry about that, man. I'm just going to just exit out the same window I came in and try the next house over.
He only used what he could find on hand in the victims' households.
Freak.
Usually an axe, which he typically left behind at the scene of the crime.
Why does everybody have
Everybody
axes?
had an axe back in the day, huh?
Yeah, you know, my biggest takeaway from this case is why not just throw your axe away?
away.
Yeah, it's literally the first thing I
Facts.
would do. But these people were like, leave the axe in
Hope
the
he doesn't
shed.
take my axe. I've got my porch axe, my shed axe, my kitchen axe.
My bedroom
Creepy
axe.
tendencies now established. Let's get into the timeline. On May 23rd, 1918 at 4901 Magnolia Street, the first suspected Axeman attack occurred. Catherine and Joseph Maggio were struck violently by an axe, a straight razor used on their throats.
Wait, he hit him with the axe and then cut their throats?
I don't know.
It also could have been since it was his first one, he was figuring out
Oh,
if he was going to
dabbling
be.
in,
He was
like,
like,
different
either
things?
I'll be the Axeman
Or I'll
or
be-
the Razor Boy. Razor Boy would be a
Or
good
Razor
sidekick for him.
Man.
Razor Boy does not sound...
Axeman and Razor Boy?
Axeman, I think, strikes a little bit more fear into my heart than Razor Boy.
Lock
I
your
don't
doors,
know.
Razor Boy's out tonight.
Razor
Catherine
Boy.
had been almost entirely decapitated, and Joseph had suffered many severe injuries. The bodies were discovered by Joseph's brothers, who lived in the same house. Nothing was heard or seen, and no valuables were taken. The bottom panel of the kitchen door was knocked out. All that was found was an axe. So he probably went back here through the back door.
Oh, that's the actual house.
I assume the only people who saw him were the ones who were killed.
Some of them survived, and they would just report like a large looming figure, like a dark figure. So he really did become kind of like a boogeyman. It kind of gives me the creeps.
There are beads everywhere in this town.
That means
Yeah.
New Orleans. Fingerprinting was around at the time, but was allegedly not yet a standard procedure.
What?
A little over a month later, on June 28, 1918, near the corner of Dorgenois and La Harpe Streets, another attack occurred. A severely injured Louis Bessemer and Anna Lowe were discovered by a baker named John Zanka making morning deliveries.
That's sad for a baker.
They actually thought he did it.
They thought the baker did it?
Well, I mean, like anybody naturally. That's why if I ever found a dead body, I don't know if I'd call it in, man.
You wouldn't call it in?
Yeah.
I'd call it in anonymously. I would not want any part of it because that's the first person they look
But
at.
in
Facts.
today's surveillance state, you would be suspect number one because they'd be like, why'd you call it in anonymous?
Well, then maybe I'll just spend my whole life trying to avoid dead bodies. How about that? Also, this guy didn't know. He was just
Facts.
delivering bread. He opened
He
the
was
door.
probably like, good morning, I've got your beignet. Oh my God.
No, but he's serious though. It's kind of just like when you're playing like Among Us and you don't even want to report bodies no more because as soon as you report the body, it's self-report. But the same thing transfers over to the real life. Like if you find the body, bro, what were you doing over there? How did you find it? What were you doing in the area? How did you happen to stumble upon this body? What took you so long to call? Did anybody else see it? Like imagine if you just saw it and somebody else seen you near the body. You're like, oh my God, that man just killed. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of get what he's saying. But I mean, that's just a chance you have to take. I mean, you got to call in, and if they believe you, then they believe you. If not, then hey, you might be doing some time.
Lewis would actually survive the attack, and
This
Anna
dude
would
is-
survive for another 7 weeks before dying.
He's horrible at
Anna
attacking
supposedly
people.
recounted to the police that a large white man with a hatchet had attacked them. The bottom panel of their bedroom door was missing, and once again, a bloody axe was left at the scene.
Another beautiful street, though.
It is a beautiful street. The trees in this area are just so nice.
Yeah, that's wild.
Sometimes even the most beautiful places hold
The
the
darkest
darkest secrets, though.
Profound. Roughly a month later, on August 5th, 1918, in an undisclosed home location, Mrs. Ed Schneider was found by her husband in the afternoon at their home. Mrs. Schneider was still alive
Oh,
and
snap.
rushed to Charity Hospital and would reportedly survive the attack. Upon investigation, it was discovered that their axe was missing from their shed. Mrs. Schneider was also pregnant, and I'm happy to report that in the week following the attack, she successfthink gave birth.
Damn.
Her.
Yeah,
That's something.
that's a super mom right there.
Is that the only axe baby out of this whole story?
I think that's.
Can you imagine being an axe baby?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing.
I'd
It
go
is.
around telling everybody. One
I
of
would,
one.
too.
My mom took
One of a kind, baby. Axe baby.
my mom took some hard steel to the noggin, and then I popped out.
Jesus.
But that would be a good story to tell, though. You survived an axe baby. Can you imagine your mom telling that story? It was August 10th, 1918. The cars were beeping. Kids were yelling and screaming, running down the streets. I was watching TV, and out of the peripherals in the corner of my eye, I see a tall, shadowy figure come running towards me with a hatchet. He impales your mom right in the back of it. At this point, like he said in the beginning, man, just get rid of the axes. Like, why do you have so many axes anyway? Like, is New Orleans like the home of like wood or... Like, what do you need axe for?
Days later, on August 10th, 1918, reportedly near Tonti and Gravier Street, 80-year-old Joseph Romano was found by his nieces Pauline and Mary after they heard him struggling. His
Hey.
head was bashed in. The two girls allegedly saw the attacker and described him as, quote, dark, tall, heavy-set, wearing a dark suit and a black slouch hat.
he's a big
end
dude.
quote. Joseph Romano would die 2 days later. This guy sounds like the villain from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, it does. What's a slouch hat?
I think it's, I don't know. I was about to talk out of my ass there. Are you gonna Google that?
I'm gonna look up a slouch hat. Because that sounds like something I need.
Right now we're at the side of the fourth attack.
Think the yellow house?
It may be. We just know it was on this corner.
Not that it's okay to kill anybody, but the elderly above all.
Yeah, facts. I
At
couldn't.
least he lived a full life, right?
Oh, you're
that's-
right, actually.
Well, he didn't. I'm sure that's not how he wanted to go out when he was picturing
Well,
retirement.
nobody does.
Getting
but
hit with an axe.
at
I
80.
rescind my statement. Maybe if you're gonna be a serial killer,
Maybe kill elderly people.
kill the elderly.
That's a weird
No.
thing to advocate, but
I mean, but they've lived a long life.
that's true.
Yeah,
Around this
but-
time, August 1918, the New Orleans State's newspaper allegedly recounted, quote, armed men are keeping watch over their sleeping families
There we go.
while the police are seeing to solve the mysteries of the axe attacks. Extra police are being put to work daily, end quote. And when looking at the timeline, it apparently worked. For a while, that is. As nearly 7 months later, on March 10th, 1919, the Cortimiglia family was attacked. Rose Cortimiglia woke to her husband Charles fighting the Axeman,
Kill him.
a fight that Charles would lose.
Shit, help
Rose
him.
and their 2-year-old daughter Mary were also attacked. Rose and Charles would actually survive, but their daughter tragically did not. In typical Axeman fashion, the axe used belonged to the Cortimiglias.
Did they call it Axeman fever or Axemania?
Or did they call him Axie?
Where they're like, everybody in town's got Axeman fever as the terror continues to grip the community.
This just in, throw away your axes.
It's just in, more skulls crushed. Whoa, throw out your axes.
5 days later, a New Orleans newspaper called the Times-Picayune received—
Why the old and the children? I would never understand that. Like, the baby's just chilling there, bro. You gonna take the baby too? And don't tell me they didn't catch him. I mean, it's called BuzzFeed Unsolved Mystery, so maybe he never did get caught, but that's crazy, bro. This dude really got away with it and lived the rest of his life.
Received a letter from the apparent Axeman. Quote, "Hell, March 13th, 1919. Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether which surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a fell demon from hot as hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman." End quote.
This guy's a poet laureate.
It's crazy.
Incredible. Was this Robert Frost?
He also goes on to insult and threaten the police. Quote, "They have been so utterly stupid so as to amuse not only me, but his satanic majesty. But tell them to beware.
He's a devil
Let them
worshiper.
not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they never were born than for them to incur the wrath of the Axeman." End quote.
It is very Old Testament.
He's
Like most
loving
serial
it.
killers just like to stroke themselves, and this is just,
He was right, and he
he's
was like,
judged.
the devil, his satanic majesty. That'll get him. Time to go murder again.
He also
Facts.
goes on to remind the people that he could be worse. Quote, "Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as a most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens, for I am in close relationship with the angel of death." End quote.
This dude, obviously, they made it worse by giving this dude a nickname, because every other sentence, the Axeman, the Axeman, I am this. You guys think of me in this way. You guys see me as this. It's because of this way. Like, that nickname just gave him all the more power. So now he's going to keep doing it so he can keep getting that attention, keep getting all that publicity, keep soaking it in, and keep doing what he's doing, because they're going to keep giving him attention. And that's why most serial killers do it, because, or back then they did it a lot, because they had, it created a nickname for themselves. It put them out in the public. It was like the mysterious factor into it that made them just want to do it more and more. And it gets bad, and the media makes it, hypes it up, and it makes it even worse. So that's why this dude's probably got back into it, because he's like, you know what, they're not talking to me, they're not talking about me anymore, which is why he probably picked up the killings again 7 months later, because they started to forget about him. Like, oh, maybe he went away. He was just like, no, I'm still here.
Not to discredit him, but he is killing people in their sleep with an axe. And what's his success rate?
I gotta
Yeah,
say,
it's
your
bad.
striking power and aim isn't Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, you should be batting 1,000 at that
You
point.
should be batting 1,000.
However, the most important clause is a specific threat that would terrify the entire New Orleans community.
What happened?
Quote, "Now, to be exact, at 12:15 o'clock earthly time on next Tuesday night, I'm going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I'm going to make a little proposition to the people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose house a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned.
What do you
if
mean?
everyone has a jazz band going, well then, so much the better for the people. One thing is certain, and that is some of those persons who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe."
See, they give him too much power.
You better jazz it.
He turned jazz into
Honey,
a
we gotta jazz it.
He turned jazz into a
I'm not gonna throw out this axe, so we better jazz it. He's a bit like Santa Claus.
He's gonna fly over.
Okay, I'd like
First
to
of
hear
all, he
how...
says he's gonna pass over New Orleans. That's a bit magical. Just imagine him flying through the skies with his big axe, riding a crocodile or an alligator.
Oh,
whatever
New
they call it.
Orleans.
A demon.
Traveling on demon's wings, and just looking down at all the little houses, listening for jazz. It's like the good and the
So
bad
he's like
list.
the Grinch trying to listen to the Whoville people sing.
Exactly right.
I still don't understand how he's Santa Claus. Santa
Yeah,
Claus
that's
never bashed
crazy.
anyone's head in with a big sack of toys.
That's true. But he does give him coal.
What?
This letter would later spark the creation of a jazz song entitled "Don't Scare Me Papa," also known as the mysterious Axeman's Jazz.
Wow. Made him music and everything, bruh. They giving him way too much credit. Can you imagine one person's putting this much fear into an entire community that you really stay up and play jazz music?
Letter was March 19th, 1919. It is said that the city was truly alive that night, as people blasted jazz music in their homes, and those who did not have a record player poured into local jazz clubs to stay clear of the Axeman's wrath.
That's
It's worth
great.
mentioning that nobody was killed on March 19th, 1919.
So he kept his word.
Very kind.
Apparently everyone was jazzing it.
You know what? He was probably just going to be out of town.
Weirdo.
He thought, wouldn't this be funny?
I've got a business trip that weekend.
Let's see how many smokers I can make dance.
Yeah.
On August 10th, 1919, Steve Boca was badly injured in his home after he awoke to a man next to his bed with an axe. Boca managed to survive the attack, reportedly staggering to a friend's home, who then called the police.
Just sleep with a
Boca
gun.
did not regain his memory, likely due to the blows to the head.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that usually does it.
Yeah.
I once fell into a pile of bricks when I was a kid.
Jesus.
And I don't remember much of it after that.
What?
Yeah, I was climbing because we were playing hide and seek. I was trying to hide, and I thought I had the best hiding spot. Turns out I was wrong. The branch broke me.
This explains a lot. You fell into
And
the
after that, I could see ghosts.
I don't think it gave you the vision.
It gave me my eyes.
I think it put a hole in your brain.
Later that month, or in early September, on 2128 2nd Street, 19-year-old Sarah Lawman was reportedly attacked by someone who entered through an open window. When she regained consciousness, she could not recall details of the attack.
This
So
dude's
this is the site
horrible.
of the second to last attack. And apparently the house is gone.
What I'm starting to see too, what they said earlier, his aim is horrible. I'm not sure. Thank God they survived, but all these people are surviving, bro. Like even an 80-year-old dude survived for 2 days. Like I don't know if the dude is just swinging to injure so they can just bleed out, or is he actually swinging to kill, but he's just garbage at what he's trying to do. A very sloppy serial killer compared to most serial killers that have gone down in the history books. He's really, really sloppy. He's organizing the fact of picking homes at the correct time when people are sleeping. He has attacked some people in the afternoon too, so I don't know how he's figuring out what time people's sleep schedule is. I don't know if he's stalking people for a little bit to see what goes on and then attacks, or he just started switching over to nighttime. Because I did that one lady, she was found in the afternoon, but then again, he could have killed her that night and they found her in the afternoon. So who knows?
About 2 months later, on October 27th, 1919, at the corner of South Scott and Ulloa Street, the suspected Axeman attacked Esther and Mike Pepitone. Esther reportedly awoke around 1 a.m. to her husband screaming and ran to the bedroom. Her husband's head was struck 18 times and died 2 hours later. Esther saw 2 figures in the bedroom, but could not identify them as they fled the scene.
Oh, it's
By the
two.
way, 2 figures.
Razor Boy.
Unless he was just big and he just looked like two people.
He's back.
No, we're not going.
He's back from boarding school.
A bolt with a heavy nut, something used to secure a circus tent, was one of the apparent weapons. There was a circus on the nearby Tulane Avenue that weekend.
Was this the last one?
Yes.
If this guy survived for 2 hours after getting struck 18
Yeah,
times, the
he's
Axeman
weak.
probably wasn't used to that kind of resilience. He probably hit him once and the guy was like, oh boy, what a bump. And he was like, all right, I guess I'll hit you again. And he was like, oh my goodness, that didn't feel much better. He was like, 3, 4, 5.
This takes us to the supposed end of the Axeman's killing spree. And with that, let's get into the theories.
right, let's
The
get it.
first theory is that perhaps not all of the killings were the work of the Axeman. Some speculate that the Axeman's presumed final killing of Mike Pepitone was actually a mafia killing, due to Mike Pepitone's father killing a man in the past. Another Axeman attack that is scrutinized is the second attack on Louis Bessemer and Anna Lowe. If you'll recall, Louis Bessemer was severely injured, and his partner Anna Lowe was killed in that same attack. However, Bessemer was charged with the murder of Anna in bizarre fashion. Police found that Bessemer had written letters back and forth in Yiddish and Russian. They eventually came to the conclusion that Bessemer was part of a German spy ring or spy master for the Kaiser, and the attack had nothing to do with the Axeman.
A spy's not gonna bash someone's head
Yeah.
with an axe.
And then bash his own head.
Yeah.
Right. He's gonna lower a string from the ceiling and put a drop of poison on it and let that poison fall into a sleeping person's mouth. Right in there.
Well, if they're
dead.
sleeping, then why don't you just drop it into their mouth like a little droplet thing? Why the
I don't know. That's what spies do. That's just what they
That's
do.
the first time I've heard that.
Everybody does that.
I think you made it up.
I did not make it up. It happens in a James Bond film.
Which one?
The racist one, where he's in Japan.
Before dying, Anna Lowe allegedly blamed her partner Louis Bessemer and said that he was a Nazi spy.
Not even.
They also theorized that this case was a domestic dispute that ended with Louis attacking Anna.
Doesn't make any sense.
Nonetheless, Louis Bessemer was acquitted.
There we go.
There were definitely things that suggested this was the work of the Axeman, mainly the fact that it happened at home at night while they were sleeping with an axe.
That would take such an enormous amount of fortitude to be able to be, really smash someone. And then also, like, I have a hard time pulling off a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Though you are a wimp. And if anyone would have mental fortitude to do something that would be painful, it would be a spy, wouldn't they?
I just think it's very rich that you're calling me a wimp.
Yeah.
Because you hear a footstep and you go into, oh, I better hide under the bed.
That's true. A lot of people try to be like copycat killers. Just like not the dude, I forgot the serial killer's name. He was going around, he was killing prostitutes and stuff. But they thought they were prostitutes, but they found out that he wasn't only killing prostitutes, he was killing other women as well. And they just started labeling everybody as prostitutes to go along with the media because it brought in so much stuff on the department and it just made them look good. But it wasn't that the case at all. But there was some people that tried to copy them as well. So who knows, man? There's a lot of people that get into, especially when they can't find out who's doing it. A lot of people go out and do the same thing. So it'd be like, it was me. I was responsible for the last 15 and 20 and take credit for it, even though it wasn't them. Or people come out and say it was them. They don't even know what happened in the cases. They don't know the details. They don't know anything. They just be like, yeah, I had an accident. I did it. It's like, okay, how did you do it? I hit him. How many times? 4, and they got hit like 18 times. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people be capping. So no telling how many copycat killers it has been or tried to fill in his shoes and did it, because at the end he said it was 2 people. So either those 2 people were doing those 2 crimes the entire time they was taking turns, or them people wanted to copycat and they went in there with 2 people to be on the safer side and carried out their plans. But I don't know.
The second theory is that given the context of his bizarre letter, some believe the Axeman to be a supernatural figure that could slip through tiny entranceways and become the large man that witnesses describe the killer to be.
No.
Just a theory.
Well, it's dumb. He shrunk down like a little mouse? Is that what you're saying? He's like Ant-Man? He's like, now I'm big, time to die.
At what point?
The last theory is actually a legitimate suspect, a man named Joseph Mumfree. To start on Mumfree, let's return to the Axeman's last crime, the attack on Esther and Mike Pepitone. If you recall, Esther survived the attack and her husband did not.
Yep.
Esther later moved to Los Angeles and remarried to a man named Angelo Albano. However, on the 2nd anniversary of her former husband Mike's death by the Axeman, her current husband Angelo disappeared and was never found again. Esther recalled that before their marriage, Angelo had ended business relations with a man who went by many names, including Joseph Mumfree. On December 5th, 1921, Mumfree visited Esther's home at 554 East 36th Street in Los Angeles. He demanded $500 and Esther's jewelry, threatening that he would, quote, kill her the same way he had killed her husband, end quote.
Which one?
But, like a badass, Esther then killed him with a revolver.
Whoa, good for her.
That's
You
what
have
I'm
2
talking
bad
about.
ladies in the story. The girl who got whacked over the head still gave birth and survived, and then this girl who got threatened and was like, oh, fuck that.
Well, you know what I'll do is I'll shoot you.
This is the spot where Esther shot Joseph Mumfree to death.
I like
Kinda
it.
crazy to think that this may be the location where the Axeman actually was killed. Good for you, Esther. Shoot him in the face.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you do?
If he actually indeed killed 2 of her husbands, whether or not he's the Axeman, shoot him in the face.
Yeah, face full of bullets, you had it coming.
Give him a bullet sandwich. Now, what does this have to do with the Axeman? Given the fact that Esther was present for the Axeman slaying of her husband Mike Pepitone, when Esther was arrested for shooting Joseph Mumfree, she claimed that Mumfree was the Axeman and had seen him run from her bedroom the night her husband was slain. The LAPD noted that there was evidence linking Mumfree to the death of Mike Pepitone, and Esther was acquitted for Mumfree's death. Here are some other things that seem to suggest Joseph Mumfree was the Axeman.
There we go.
Upon investigation, the police found that Mumfree led a blackmailing gang in New Orleans that preyed on Italians, and almost all of the Axeman's victims were Italians.
This guy's a racist?
Most of them were Italian grocers.
Whoa, fuck this guy.
This is what
Attacking
they
Italians.
If there's already the basis that he's gonna be killing, I do not approve of that, but if he's gonna do it, then at least do it randomly.
Yeah.
I think just, how about don't kill people?
Look,
That's
Ryan,
true, too.
what are we here for? I thought we were here to get into the mind of a serial killer.
I know, I'm just saying, what if they all just happen to be Italian grocers?
No, that's too much
that's
of a coincidence.
It all just happened to be.
Yeah.
That'll hold up in court.
Mumfree was in and out of prison for the past 10 years, and his time outside of prison coincided with attacks by the Axeman. That being said, there was not enough evidence to directly link Mumfree to the crimes, and eyewitnesses can be wrong. Only circumstantial evidence led people to believe Mumfree was the killer.
I think it
If
was.
you recall, Esther Pepitone originally said there were 2 men in her bedroom the night her first husband was killed, so either she's lying or is the Axeman perhaps multiple people.
What do you think?
I think
That's it, by the way.
it very well could be him. I know it says there's not a lot of evidence,
Multiple.
but that was sort of the sweet spot for serial killers, right?
I think it may have been a series of copycat killers.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
Leading a blackmailing gang in New Orleans that preys on Italians. What a strange thing to
I've never
spearhead.
even heard of a blackmail.
What does a
gang.
blackmailing gang do?
They
Blackmail
just get
people.
together and they're like, I saw this guy fucking a goat.
In the end, there aren't many leads on the identity of the notorious New Orleans Axeman. Was this the work of a series of copycats? Or was this the result of one troubled individual? For now, the case remains unsolved.
Dang, that's crazy, dude. Like, third theory, I think, is the best one for me. That first one was kind of like, an entity that can shrink itself from small to big. Like, who even thought, bro? I don't know how that's even considered among the two other ones, but they thought that was the one. And the third one for me is kind of like, if he was in a part of a blackmailing gang, it kind of leads you to believe maybe it was more than one. Maybe all of the gang set out to kill people at certain times in certain places, you get what I'm saying? Because if two men showed up, which means that two people could have been in on it. Maybe there was a third dude, and maybe that third dude or second dude was Joseph Mumphrey. She probably did kill him. I mean, you can probably get that kind of like sense of who killed your husband. Like they said, they had traces of him killing her husband, but I think it was multiple. Because they have a multiple gang or blackmailing thing, and most of their targets were Italian. And I don't think that's just a coincidence. You don't attack 12, 18 people. You get what I'm saying? They all just happen to be Italian grocers. Like, no, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think you had a plan, you knew where they were, and you set out to do it. And I think people helped you because y'all had the same mentality, the same mindset. And one dude was bigger and heavy set, and Joseph Mumphrey wasn't heavy set. A lot of people said they seen somebody that was big and like chunky looking. And Joseph Mumphrey, from the look of his photo, he wasn't that big at all. So I think he was one of the two guys that they seen in the room. He was one of them that got killed. And I think the other one may be still alive, or who knows, bro. He don't fit the description of the other one that other people were saying they were seeing. Either way, they both was garbage at attacking people because most of their victims survived. And unfortunately, luckily the lady with the baby survived, and luckily the other lady took shots, boy. She don't play that. I be trying to tell you guys, bro. Get your weapon. He was like, you don't do that, I don't kill you, just like her husband did. Bow, bow, bow. Problem solved, and she's out free living her best life. Man, I'm telling you guys, get you some protection because people are crazy. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, man. Give me your thoughts. So what theory did you believe in? And we just go from there. But this video is by Buzz Unsolved Mystery, so you guys haven't already, be sure you swoop down to the description box, click on that link, go watch the video in entirety. Want me pause it and stop it and talk it through the whole thing. Thank you guys so much, man. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Reprisalzems, and welcome to the Crow's Nest. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.